sometimes it seems like there isn't enough mediocre sales engineers. And sometimes you might want to take a great sales engineer and turn him into a mediocre one. And I know it's hard, but I have faith in you. You can do it.
You can do it!
Now, I know I'm being a little bit facetious. Managers generally don't want to turn great sales engineers into mediocre ones, in case you were wondering about that. But somehow they managed to do that. And I know great SEs don't want to go and become mediocre. And when they turn mediocre, it's not turning mediocre because of their skills. They turn mediocre because of the effort they put in or the caring. It becomes mediocre effort. It becomes, I don't really care, whatever happens, happens. There are many more things that leaders do to make sales engineers check out. But here's 5 top ones that if you see yourself doing, stop it or work to fix it. No room for growth or promotion. Generally speaking, the rule is if you want to get promoted to a higher level, you have to be doing the work at a higher level already. So if you're an SE and you want to become a senior SE, you have to be doing the job of a senior SE for a little while to become a senior SE. Same thing with principal or staff, whatever the levels that you have within your organization. If your SE is doing the work at that level already, and then you tell them that they cannot get a promotion for some reason, well, they're most likely going to check out. And this has happened to me personally. If I'm doing the work of a person at a higher level, and instead of getting the promotion, I am told that you have to do even higher level work, what do you think is going to happen? I don't know why I said what, but what do you think it's going to happen? In a good market, they're going to find another job. In the meantime, while they're looking for another job, they're going to check out. In a bad market, they're just going to check out. And now you're going to have a mediocre person on your hands. And I hear this argument from my manager friends, especially when you become like higher level, like principal or staff. We only have room for one principal SE on the team. And then the question becomes, well, is that person that you're refusing to promote to the principal level, is he doing the work or is she doing the work at that level already? The answer is yes, otherwise we wouldn't be having this conversation. Then the follow-up would be, then why are you making them do work or her work at that level? Just let them do the work at a senior level. Don't give them more tasks. But I know a great SE would ask for more tasks and then expect the promotion. But if they're not going to get a promotion, they're not going to ask for those tasks. So are you stringing them along or taking advantage of cheap labor? They don't generally like that question, and I know they're not thinking that. Most managers are not thinking that. It's like, hey, all right, this guy's asking or this girl's asking for more work. Let's give them more work. Well, you know they're going to expect a promotion in the end. If you're not going to give them promotion, just tell them, like, we don't have room for a principal SE. That's your next step. We don't have room for that. You might want to go elsewhere. You might want to find another position within the company. And if you really like them and think they deserve that principal level, then it's your job as the manager to fight for them. You can't just say, oh, sorry, I can't, and not fight for them and expect them to stay or be happy. They're going to find somewhere else. And if you can't get them promoted for one reason or another, which are, in my humble opinion, as in someone who's an individual contributor, is bull stuff, then make them do work that they would enjoy, that they would do for free, for their own benefit. For example, if they want to go to conferences, they haven't had the opportunity, they think they would enjoy it. In their mind, they know that if they go to a conference, they might meet someone who can open doors for them. Let them do that. Help them do that. If they're working on a project that has nothing to do with the current business, but it will add a skill to their resume, let them do that. Invest in them in other ways. Quota is not achievable. The way commission is structured is annoying. Sales and SEs by default get a pay cut every year if they hit their quota, because quotas generally go up. The good news is SEs don't get affected as much as salespeople, but it's still a pay cut. And the thing is as well that although sales engineers are not always financially driven, we do have needs. We need to take care of our families. We need to pay for our mortgages, our cars, our schools, university, whatever it is. They're achievement driven. So if they can't hit quota, the main achievement that they're metriced about is not achievable. They cannot hit it. The quota is not always in the SE's control, and sometimes not in the salesperson's control. And we talked to many SEs who've had like that one big deal that pushed them from 50% to 300% of quota. Exaggeration potentially, but 200% or 150%. And then the leadership team expects that sales team to do the same next year. To, instead of hitting that $1 million quota that they had, they hit 2 million, and now they're expecting 3 million. But it was a one-time deal that's never going to come again, or it will come every 10 years. So now the quota is unachievable. Or it could be you're assigned to a crappy territory, or the SE that was working for you is assigned to a crappy territory. I know a friend of mine from a previous company, he was assigned to a terrible territory, and he never hit quota. And my manager knew that, and he was doing things kind of like what I was talking about earlier, giving them projects, understanding that, all right, it's not your fault, you're not hitting quota. And then the VP of solution engineering drops by at a sales kickoff, walks past the guy and tells him, you didn't hit quota again, and then walks away. Well, that SE checked out, and 2 months later, or within whatever time frame, he was at the competitor where he was given a better territory, more opportunities to sell. So, don't be mean to the SEs that cannot control quota. I mean, if they're doing a bad job with demos or whatever, okay, fine, put them on a PIP. But if they're not hitting quota for reasons that are outside of their control, and you as a leader of leaders are not aware of why, shut up. That sounded harsh. Shut up, please. The SE doesn't feel supported by their leadership. We've talked a lot about leadership in the past, and we'll continue to talk about it because it's an interesting topic for me. There are many things that the leader can do that help SEs, but there are many things that they can do that tick off an SE. For example, forcing an SE to do things that don't make sense to them. Tracking every minute of every waking hour. I had clients who their management asked them to track everything that they're doing in a common Excel spreadsheet with everyone on their team and from the sales team. No one read that. And after a while, they stopped doing it. But for a while, the SEs had to do it. Other SEs, they have to meet up with 6 clients on a weekly basis. They had enterprise clients. They had 2 enterprise clients. Where are they going to find the 6? In person, when everyone's remote? It's a rhetorical question. Don't answer that. Don't stick up for your SEs. Right? That's one of the biggest pet peeves, is when an SE is facing some hardship because their salesperson's throwing them under the bus. The sales engineer leader is supposed to, if not take their side, at least be neutral and investigate with an open mind. Not automatically come in saying that it's the SE's fault. That definitely does not make one feel supported. Or if you're going to say that it's the SE's fault, help them navigate the situation. Don't just say it's your fault and walk away. What are they going to do in the future? Are they going to repeat the mistake? If the same thing happens again, what do you want them to do? How do you want them to manage the situation? This generally happens when you have a new SE leader, or an SE leader who's been in sales in the past and just jumps ship into SE leadership somehow. Yes, it happens. Don't say it doesn't happen. It happens. Anyways, support your SEs. The workaround to that is fairly easy. If someone's giving you feedback about your SE, make sure you find out what the SE thinks about that, or not take their side, but come to them with an open mind. Allow them to share their side of the story, and allow them to fix it. Bored with technology, no advancement in the technology stack. This is outside of the SE's control, or the SE manager's control, or the company, well, maybe not the company's control, but definitely the SE team's control. SEs like to learn. We always try to learn new things, new technologies, new ways of doing things. But if the company is not doing anything new, the SE is going to get bored. So what happens then? They try to move. If they can't, they'll stay. And then they'll go play around with other technologies that have nothing to do with what they do on a day-to-day basis because they don't want to get bored. So that takes time away from what they're doing to go do something else. And that's time they could be using for their own work if the technology stack was interesting or fun. Maybe something happened. The last reason people check out is you're a crappy leader. There, I said it. If you're not a crappy SE leader, but you want to become a better one, come and chat. I'm willing to help. With that, get back to work. Peace.